ticking and it's ticking fast. We've had enough, this greed can't last. So count your days. You raise the price, but the vibe ain't right. Monthly subscription bills on repeat. Prices rise, but the pay don't change. We're stuck in the middle of a losing game. Count your days. Your game's exposed, the whole world knows your time is up, no more to say. Claiming inflation, but we see the play. How much more do we have to pay? Count your days.
Hey tea sippers, I hope you guys are doing good today. Welcome to another episode of Count Your Days.
Count your fucking days, bitch.
Yes, count your days, bitch. So if you guys do not know, it is getting real out here in the whole buy now, pay later world. So what's going down is this. If you guys remember a few months ago, I talked about people putting fast food on Klarna and Klarna, connecting with DoorDash. So that way you can DoorDash your food. So now it's gotten even messier. What ended up happening is that a few weeks after that, Klarna admitted that people were not paying them back. Surprise, surprise to no one, okay? A lot of people are acting like this is free money, this is monopoly money. So they were taking out Klarna to buy Coachella tickets and outfits and fast food only to not pay them back. And then Klarna was basically on the edge of bankruptcy, okay? So a lot of people are like, okay, cool, they're gonna file bankruptcy. I won't have to pay my debt. It is all good. Well, it's not. Because what's going on now is that as of 2 days ago, it's now been announced that Klarna, Afterpay, and many of these buy now, pay later apps, they will be reporting to the credit bureau. Yes, they have connected with the 3 major credit bureaus. And if you do not pay, it will not be affecting your credit. And a lot of people are already being affected, and they're talking about it on TikTok. Also, credit card companies are not playing anymore either, because as we all know, times are hard. A lot of people are putting things on credit, and unfortunately they're not able to pay it back because they may have been laid off or they're just going through some things. But even the credit card companies like Discover, American Express, and several others are now suing people. Before it would go to a debt collector, you might get harassed, they might call your phone, you ignore them, you pay the bill, whatever. But now they are taking people to court and they are doing wage garnishments. So it is getting real out there, and I want y'all to know what is going on. So this is why we're doing this Count Your Days.
The entire buy now, pay later industry is running on fumes.
I beg your pardon.
Klarna wants to blame one-off costs, but here's the real problem. The entire buy now, pay later industry is running on fumes.
I beg your pardon.
Because people are racking up microloans to fund sneakers, food delivery, and gym memberships they can't afford. And the kicker? Debt collectors are suing hard. Nobody's talking about the part that thousands of consumers are being dragged into court over unpaid Klarna balances.
Yeah, baby.
And for those of you who do not know this, the debt can be purchased by a debt collector, and they can in fact sue you legally.
It's an evil world we live in.
This isn't just Klarna, it's Afterpay, Affirm, Sezzle. They're all exposed.
Cause y'all know Klarna is going bankrupt. 175 million. So I'm looking at this video, and this lady said, see, y'all need to pay. She said, and I quote, y'all need to pay Klarna back, because see, why one bad apple gotta spoil the bunch? Bitch, it ain't one bad apple, it's 175 million. It's millions of bad apples. Literally. Y'all need to get these people their money. See, this is why, and I guarantee you, I ain't even gonna say it's all black people, because I ain't even gonna do that. But this is why they don't want to give our ass anything, black, white, whatever. This is why they don't want to give us any money and give us any loans and shit. And this is why it's so hard now for people to go in like banks and like get a loan and this and that. It's not as easy as it was 10 motherfucking years ago. That's the part. That right there is the problem. Y'all, if y'all see this and you owe Klarna, get them folks their money. Make a payment plan. Do something like that. Them folks say they in dick, bro.
So Klarna is going bankrupt. This is what I feel about this, because it's ridiculous. So they say they have about 100 million users, a lot of people, but they are facing just as much, if not more, of money not being paid back. Now, in this economy that we are currently living in, with people can't afford groceries and they are putting that on Klarna, why in the world would you not make your payments knowing there's a possibility that you may need them again? Food run out, things get broken. And right now, unfortunately, is a system that people need. Now, could there be a lot of people going on there who possibly really don't need anything, buying a bunch of stuff, and then running off on the plug? That's definitely a possibility. However, y'all are messing it up for people who actually need it, who actually can't afford important things like groceries right now, that they will need that later, and it won't be there if they file for bankruptcy. Y'all need to think about that for those who are the ones who are doing that, and the ones who just say, yeah, I'm gonna just buy all this food and then run off on the plug. Food run out, things run out, things get broken. Think about that.
So Klarna just came out and said a lot of y'all ain't paying them back, and they going broke. Their Q1 numbers show they have lost over $100 million so far in 2025, doubling the amount they lost since the same period the last year.
Damn.
And I swear I've been talking about this for a long.
That's how you know the economy is getting worse, because it's doubled what they lost the year before. And again, with people getting laid off, it's getting harder and harder to pay back a lot of this Klarna and Afterpay debt.
Long time now. These companies are only here out of necessity. People want to be able to buy what they want and not have to pay the cost. $500 sounds so much better when you pay it over 2 weeks at a time. If you give people the opportunity to overspend themselves, they're going to do it every time. I thought we learned this in 2008.
Hell, this ain't nothing but fancy layaway. That's all this is. This is layaway that the stores used to have. I remember it used to be at Kmart and Walmart and stuff like that. This is all it is. It's modern layaway. This is not free money.
Girl, yeah, we can go on that trip. Yeah, what is it, $1,000? Girl, put it on pay in full. We're going to be good. Hey, man, just be careful, because they'll sell you anything. I'm not even so mad about people like extending their payment for like bills or necessities. But when you finance a Big Mac, it's just not a good thing. When you finance something like an e-bike, something you actually don't need, not a good idea.
There's fake news going around that Klarna declared bankruptcy. That's not true. It is true that the company has actually faced significant financial losses from some of you guys that have actually destroyed the buy now, pay later feature because some of you guys don't want to repay. Now you see what you've cost. It is being reported that Klarna's net loss more than doubled the first quarter in 2025, reaching about $99 million, and its valuation has plummeted. So yeah, while they're experiencing crazy financial difficulties, thanks to some of you guys, they actually haven't gone bankrupt. So you know what that means, guys? As a collective, we all have to pay back. Well, not me, I'm not owing, but you guys have to.
Shit, not me either, brother. Okay, objection. I'm not going to use Klarna. My mentality is this: if I can't afford to do it, I don't need to go. If I can't afford to pay it back, I don't need it. That's always been my mentality, but I do understand that times are hard and people are really using this to buy groceries and buy the necessities. So I'm not giving everybody the side eye, but to the ones who don't need it, who are using this as a way to scam, to go to Coachella, to go to concerts, to go on vacation, when, you know what I'm saying, if you don't have the money to go on vacation, you should not be going on vacation. That is not important. Groceries, feeding your kids, that's very important. You know what I'm saying? But unfortunately, again, it takes for just a few people to spoil it for everybody else.
Pay back their money, because let's be for real, without these guys, some of you will not have the clothes and the lifestyle that you have right now. Do you know how good you have it to have a platform that has 0% interest rate? By the way, going in debt for clothes is actually crazy, and some of you guys that think your debt is going to be forgiven if they go bankrupt, nice try. They're going to push that shit to a debt collector, and they're going to chase your ass. The people that actually PT are the ones that actually use it responsibly and they pay back. The rest of you guys that just messed it up, fuck you guys.
Why the fuck didn't y'all pay back y'all Klarna debt? Am I the only one that's trying to keep them in business? Are y'all dead ass right now? Klarna, I am pissed off, okay? Klarna?
This is why we can't have nothing, because people like y'all always gotta ruin it for everybody. This don't make no damn sense. So it's been reported that Klarna is actually filing for bankruptcy because they have lost over $150 million because people like y'all that's abusing it for everybody is not paying back y'all debts. This is really hurting the people that really need this the most, especially when it comes to getting groceries and, something like that for their home, like home necessities and whatever. And now you got this going on. This is really like hurting them, because it's always got to be the people that wants to buy a whole bunch of stuff that they don't need and just run off with the plug.
All right, see, I just saw some of the discussion that has been going on TikTok for the past month with this whole Klarna situation. So now, like I said, as of 2 days ago, it has now been announced that they are connecting with the credit bureaus, and they are basically reporting to the credit bureaus, and they are affecting people's credit score. So first, y'all was dealing with the student loan debt being reported to the credit bureaus. Now Klarna, Afterpay, and many other buy now, pay later sites are doing the same thing. So this can really affect your credit. People need to wake up. It is no longer a game, and it's no longer about running off with the plug.
Credit company FICO says it'll soon incorporate your buy now, pay later purchases into how it calculates your credit score. The buy now, pay later programs have surged in popularity over recent years. The total amount of loans issued is projected to rise to $108 billion this year. Joining us to share more on the program and its potential impact to your credit is money coach Lynette Calfani-Cox. Lynette, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you for having me. It's a great time to talk about this because this is hugely important to people's finances.
Yeah, so for people not familiar with this program, Buy Now, Pay Later, talk to us about what it is and why it's so attractive to so many people.
Sure. Well, buy now, pay later is a short-term financing option that gives people the ability to pay for products, services, everything from groceries nowadays to travel, household furniture over time. And so you typically pay in what's called four installments, and those might be over the course of a couple of weeks or a couple of months. And people really like this because unlike using a credit card, if you do stick to the payment terms and pay it off over a couple of weeks, you don't have to pay any interest. And it's often done right there at the point of sale if you're in store or online. So it's a flexible payment option that increasingly, as you mentioned, a lot of consumers are using.
And look, there are pros and there are cons to this program.
No question about that. For the past year, I don't know, I feel like I've been I hope I'm not called Chicken Little on this saying the sky is falling, but I've been warning so many people about overextending themselves with buy now, pay later, because it is very easy to get into trouble with this financing method. And we've already seen the data from a number of studies showing that typically, a lot of younger people are using buy now, pay later. A lot of people who have already had financial setbacks in their lives. They've maxed out the credit cards. They've gone through a divorce. They've had, a job layoff or had their hours reduced. And so now they're relying increasingly on this form of credit just to get by. I mentioned people being able to use it for food, for groceries, for DoorDash deliveries, and more. So that tells you the increased usage and the ways in which, if you're not careful, you can get into trouble.
Lynette, is this the modern day, the 2025 version of what we used to have, the program called layaway? Remember back in the days when we would purchase something, you could pay for it later.
My mother was a layaway queen.
Absolutely, absolutely.
And so it's a bit akin to layaway, but very different in a lot of ways as well. The similarity is, the ability to kind of pay over time, but the big difference is with buy now, pay later, you get the stuff you want right up front. So with layaway, you know,
You would have to wait,
I remember
yeah.
my mom doing it for holiday season, for Christmas and stuff like that. You pay over several months, and then in December you'd get the merchandise. But no, with buy now, pay later, or BNPL, you can actually take possession of the item right now.
Once again, it plays into instant gratification, and layaway didn't do that. You had to pay it first before you receive said item.
Or experience whatever it is you want, whether that's a trip, travel, or whatever, and then pay for that over time. So that's a key distinction. But from a credit standpoint, this is, you know, been a big issue in recent years, because before now, buy now, pay later wasn't really accounted for on people's credit reports. And you have a lot of buy now, pay later providers like Affirm, Klarna, Afterpay, etc., who are going to be reporting to the credit bureau. Certainly Affirm is right out on front doing this now with FICO, Fair Isaac Corporation. And, you know, a lot of consumers, of course, have heard about their FICO credit scores. If you miss a payment on your buy now, pay later obligation, you really need to know that that can ding you, just like if you missed a credit card payment or a mortgage or an auto loan or a student loan, and that can have negative ramifications. So one of the cautions that I'm suggesting to our audience here in the Houston area is that you need to keep track of all of your buy now, pay later obligations. A lot of people have 5, 8, 10, or
All right, so you guys just heard what she had to say. So it is getting real. And what I don't like about things like this that kind of bother me is that there's a lot of people doing the right thing, right? They put something on Klarna, they put something on Afterpay, and they pay it off within the 4 payments. But guess what? When you're doing the right thing on these programs, they're not reporting that to the credit bureau. You know, that's the thing I don't respect. As soon as people mess up or they're taking advantage, now they're being dinged negatively, which they should. Because if you're trying to scam them and take money from them, it should be reported to the credit bureau. But how about also reporting the folks who are doing the right thing, who are paying it back? Because that's the difference between a credit card and a buy now, pay later, is the fact that with a credit card, if you're making your payments on time, it is building your credit. You're getting something for that credit card. But with buy now, pay later, you're not. They're going to ding you if you don't pay, but it doesn't benefit you if you do pay. So you're better off just getting a credit card if you're trying to build your credit.
FICO and Klarna just got off the phone and they finna snitch on you. You did hear this from me. They finna snitch on you. Why they finna snitch on you? Because FICO told Klarna and Afterpay and all of them places, but buy now, pay later places, they said we just had letting you know that when fall come around, all of them people that didn't pay, all them people that's behind, that thought that they can go on, get their little seafood boils, thought they can go to the Caribbean, thought they can go to Jamaica, and they can play with you. You give me their names right now. Give me all of their names, give me their information, give me when they put out the debt, when the debt was supposed to be paid, what they haven't paid, because I'm finna lower that credit score. FICO said, you will not sit around here and tell me you got a 700 credit score when Klarna says otherwise, when Klarna says you don't pay your debt. I also like for you guys to keep in mind that credit scores are just a made up thing to fuel the white supremacist ideology of America. So they don't really need to exist, and it's not a coincidence that all of this is happening now. They're trying to lower y'all credit scores to make it that much more impossible for you to get a house, to make it that much more impossible for you to move upward. Everything's all a plot. Congratulations. It's America.
Lord, it wasn't supposed to be like this, I swear.
This is for all the haters in the comment sections where they say buy now, pay later apps do not report to your credit report. Look at this. There's no private information on here at all. Nobody's name, nobody's account number, nothing is on here. Jefferson Capital, right there. I know it's backwards, but screenshot it. What's it collecting for, you guys? Drop a comment. Let me know. Klarna, right there. Where's the amount? $501. Look at the date. Right, where's the date? On here. May 24th. So many people are going to say, oh, it doesn't report to your credit report. It doesn't report to your credit report. This is your credit report. It's from Experian, and it's on there. So stop using buy now, pay later apps.
Open up your phone right now. Delete Klarna, Affirm, and Afterpay. You do not need any buy now, pay later apps. This is destroying your budget, and it's going to keep you broke.
Buy now, pay later history is going to be included in FICO credit scores starting the fall. So if you purchase to pay and all those buy now, pay later, you know, installment plans, which probably a lot of people do because everything's expensive and people have to get loans to buy groceries these days. But if you do that, then right now just start paying it on time like you're supposed to. Because it'll be positive if you have good history, but if you have bad buy now, pay later loan history, then it's going to negatively affect your report. If it's good, then you're going to have positive.
All right, so you guys just saw those videos. It is getting real out here. But on top of Klarna and Afterpay coming after folks and, you know, reporting to the credit bureaus, these credit card companies are not playing either. So as things are getting harder in the economy, a lot of credit card companies are now suing consumers directly for not paying their credit card bills. It is getting scary out here, folks.
I'm being sued. 2 of my credit card, actually it's funny, it's the same bank, but 2 different credit cards have hired the same lawyer to sue me. And I got the lawsuits in the mail.
So you're getting sued by Capital One?
Yes, I owe them $7,000.
Okay, did you actually open up the card yourself?
I did.
Did you spend the money on the card yourself?
Yes.
What's the question here? You have to pay them back. You spent their money and you didn't pay them back, and now they're coming after you.
I'm telling you guys, Navy Fed and American Express, they are not playing with you. Here I am again. Here's the courthouse. I am here with 2 clients today. Keep in mind, I'm not an attorney, but what I do is repair credit every single day. And Navy Federal Credit Union, if you are delinquent, they are going to sue you. And if you have an American Express credit card, if you're delinquent, they're going to sue you. So I have 2 clients that I'm going to meet here. One should be pulling in this parking lot any second here. And here we go to the courthouse, straight to the collections division department, and look at my story where I post inside the courthouse. So when people say, oh, you can do a credit sweep and take off your addresses, if that was the case, we sure the hell wouldn't be at this courthouse. I can tell you that right now.
These are 3 companies that will sue you so quick and send you a summons if you go into a derogatory state with them. So starting at number 3 is going to be Citibank. Citibank does not play when it comes to the debt that you owe them. If you owe Citibank a debt, best believe they're going to do everything in their power to get that money back.
And if you guys don't know, objection, I used to work for Citi Financial. I worked in their auto loan division, so I dealt with auto loans and repossessions, and they do not play. You know what I'm saying? Once you default and you decide that you're not going to pay for your car loan, they will eventually come after you in the form of a judgment. And if you still do not pay, they will garnish your wages. So this is what people need to understand, that it's getting real, where they might have let a lot of things slide a few years ago, but now with the economy tanking and things getting harder and harder, a lot of these credit card companies are now going after wage garnishments.
And that could be sending you a summons in hopes you don't respond. That way they can garnish your wages.
What I just
Number
said.
2 is Discover.
Yep.
Discover will also send you a summons if you have an unpaid debt with them. Discover has a very strong legal team, and they will too send you a summons in hopes that you don't answer so that they can garnish your wages as well. They will try to get their money back, and Discover goes to extreme measures to try to do that. Number 1 is American Express. If you owe American Express money, they will go through extreme measures to try to get that money back. So Citibank, Discover, and American Express do not play when it comes to the money that is owed to them. They will do the most to try to get that money back, and that will be taking the money from your paycheck, just snatching it out so that they can get paid back.
Hey, if you have Capital One or Discover debt, this is something you need to know. If you're going through a debt resolution program or plan to be on a debt resolution program, if you have Capital One or Discover, you will be sued in civil court. I was told 100% of cases that are trying to be resolved or settled with Capital One or Discover are being sued civilly. If you are in a creditor-friendly state, that means the state is more likely to side with the creditor. If you're in a debtor-friendly state, vice versa. If you're in a creditor-friendly state, they have the option to keep pushing, and not settle your debt. The most common repercussion of that is a garnishment of wages by 25%.
Exactly.
If you have 2 creditors do that, that is 50% of your wages before taxes. This is something I was not informed of when I began the debt resolution program, and it's something that I feel like people should probably know. So wish me luck, boy. I'm going to court.
He's absolutely right. They do not play when it comes to credit card debt, wage garnishments. Like I said, I worked in finance for years, and they're going to recoup their money. And especially in this day and age, these credit card companies are not playing. So yeah, it's a lot going on in the finance world, and I just want you guys to be aware of everything. So let's go ahead and get the discussion popping. Tea sippers, how do y'all feel about this entire situation? Have you had any issues with Afterpay and Klarna? Do you owe them any money and you getting ready to pay? Because understand they're going to be reporting to the credit bureau. And like I said, you're better off getting a credit card, because why even deal with Klarna if they're not going to report when you are paying, when you are in the positive? That's not being reported to the credit bureau. But as soon as you mess up, they're running to FICO. So it just makes more sense to get a credit card. But again, if you get a credit card, make sure you pay your credit card on time every month. You do not want to get into financial debt, because it will affect you. It will affect your credit score, and that's going to make it harder for you if you're trying to get a home or even living in a nice area, because a lot of apartment buildings do credit checks as well. And if your credit score is below a certain amount, you will be closed out of living in a nicer area. So you just want to make sure that you're on top of your credit, pay your bills, pay your debts, and don't get into unnecessary debt. Do not be financing trips that you can't afford to go on. Do not be financing mukbang dinners that you don't need. I can see if it's very serious and it's groceries, but just financing DoorDash, that is silly. So you need to be financially responsible. So let's go ahead and get the discussion popping. I look forward to reading y'all's comments down below. Please hit the video with a like. Feel free to share this video, and I'll talk to y'all later. Deuces.
If you want the latest news in the streets, join us and tune in for the tea. Breaking news with integrity. So tell your friends and your family. It's the Lovelyti TV show, bringing you good tea and good vibes. It's the Lovelyti TV show. Be sure to share, like, and subscribe.